What's going on, everybody? It's James, and I'm recording this video a little earlier than I normally do. Today is Wednesday, November 23rd, and normally I record these videos on Friday, but tomorrow, if you are in the US, you know that tomorrow is a national holiday. It is Thanksgiving if you are outside of the US. Like I said, tomorrow is a national holiday, so we're going to be out of the office tomorrow and Friday, but I want to get this video out for you guys either way. So we're going to be taking a look at the Edge Finder like we normally do on Fridays, and we're going to be taking a look at our top buy and our top sell here in the Edge Finder. But before we get to that, I want to show you that we just added a new feature here in the Edge Finder today on Wednesday, like I mentioned. It is our updated market heat map. So if you're familiar with the Edge Finder, you know that we've had our market heat map in the Edge Finder forever. It recently got a new look, adding these bar charts here. We had our major US currency pairs here, as well as our major indices, but today we added the bar charts for all our other currencies. So you can see Euro, GBP, JPY, CHF, Aussie, and NZD currencies. Their currency pairs here, listed in bar chart form, so you can see how much they've moved today. So for example, I can see CAD JPY is down minus 1.19% today. I can see that GBP CAD is up 1.45% today. So that's another cool little feature right there. Of course, we are always updating the Edge Finder to make it the best trading tool possible. But let's go ahead and get right into the video. Top buy and top sell of the day. So I can see right off the bat that CHFJPY is our top buy of today with a very strong score of a +8. And down here, we have had the same three top sells, or strong sells rather, Euro NZD, GBP NZD, and Aussie NZD. All strong sells. Aussie NZD with a score of -9. So it looks like we're going to take a look at CHF JPY as well as Aussie NZD. So that'll be 4 different currencies that we're going to get some information on. 2 different currency pairs, 1 strong buy signal, 1 strong sell signal. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. This is the last week of our Black Friday sale. That means our massive 40% off discount is going away very soon. This is the best price ever on our Edge Finder, so make sure that you take advantage of the sale while you still can. You can use code A1YT for 40% off for only a few more days, so don't wait any longer. This sale is going away very soon. So go ahead and get the Edge Finder for the best price ever. And I'm down here looking at Aussie NZD, so why don't we just start with that? So Aussie NZD, like I mentioned, strong sell score of -9, and we can see here that we have nothing but red in our score summary. So COT data and retail sentiment both coming out to scores of -1, and we can take a look at that right over here. So NZD COT data, institutional traders are 41.09% long and 58.91% short, and Australian dollar is 29.87% long and 70.13% long, or short rather, excuse me. So institutional traders both favored short on the currencies, but the Australian dollar is really heavily favored short, 70%. The New Zealand dollar, we don't really, when we score our pairs, we don't really give it a plus or minus score until it crosses that 60% threshold. So because the New Zealand dollar is sitting at a 58.91% short and it hasn't actually crossed that 60%, we're still considering it kind of neutral, although it is clear that they are leaning towards the short side. Here on the Australian dollar, however, 70.13%, they are clearly favored, heavily short for the Australian dollar, and that is giving us our score of -1 here. Retail sentiment, on the other hand, retail traders are very, very long favored on the pair, 98% long to only 2% short for retail traders. So they are buying this pair while they can before it rallies and starts to go shoot back up to the upside. Our seasonality here is a score of -1, and we can see that historically speaking in our last 10 years and last 5-year average, that this is what this pair typically tends to do. In the month of November, we can see that we're sitting below this neutral 0 line here, meaning that when it's wherever this pair comes in at the start of the month, it typically finishes worse off than it started, and that is absolutely the case here, and that tends to be the case in December as well. So historically speaking, this pair could either stay the same or shoot down even lower potentially going into December, at least based on this historical data here. Our trend reading is a score of -2, and that means that this market is definitely in a downward trend, and that is pretty obvious when we take a look at our daily chart. So we had a little bit of consolidation, not too much of a slight upward trend maybe, but this is probably just a little bit of retesting, trying to test these highs up here before it absolutely shot to the downside. And oh my goodness, since November 15th all the way up to today, I mean, that is just a really strong downward trend, and our price forecast expects it to continue downwards even more. So lastly, we can see that our fundamental section here, our GDP growth, inflation, unemployment, and interest rates all have scores of -1. And what that means is the New Zealand dollar is beating out the Australian dollar in all 4 of these metrics here, fundamentally speaking. And we can take a look at that right now. Australian GDP growth is only 0.9% compared to New Zealand's 1.7%. Australia sits at 3.4% unemployment compared to New Zealand's 3.3% unemployment. Australian inflation sits at 7.3% compared to New Zealand's 7.2%. And lastly, interest rates in Australia are 2.85% compared to New Zealand's 4.25%. And actually today, these interest rates were actually just raised today, 0.75 basis points, or 75 basis points rather, up to 4.25% new interest rate data for the New Zealand dollar. So that is our top sell in the Edge Finder today. Everything pointing very, very bearish for this currency pair. And our top buy, I believe, was CHFJPY, which is actually just right here. Yep, top buy, strong buy bias score of +8. And we can see our COT data is neutral here, and our retail sentiment has a score of +1. And we can see here that institutional traders are both heavily favored short on the yen and the Swiss franc. So 25.33% long, 74.67% short for the yen, and 10.63% long and 89.37% short for the Swiss franc. And now, like I mentioned with the other currency pair, the reason that this one gets a neutral score and not a minus score is because both of these are across that 60% threshold, meaning that it is very clear and obvious that institutional traders are both heavily favored short on both of these currencies, and because of that, it gets a neutral score. That is the only thing holding this back from being a +9, the strongest score that we can give in the Edge Finder. Retail sentiment is following that trend, also very heavily favored short, 81% short, 19% long. Seasonality is a score of +1, and we can see here that in the month of November, historically speaking, in the last 5 years, it's pretty much kind of stayed the same from where it entered coming into the month to where it leaves. But in the last 10 years, it does have almost a 1% increase. Our current year average is currently sitting at a 0.88% increase. But if we look at the month of December, historically speaking, when this currency pair goes into December compared to when the month finishes up, it typically tends to do better in the month of December. Our trend reading is a score of +2, and we can see a little bit of upward trend here before it started testing these highs. These look like the higher highs, and we are looking to break out from these highs currently, and the Edge Finder believes that we will do so. Our GDP growth, inflation, unemployment, and interest rates are all scores of +1, and that is because, again, kind of similar to the other pair, except in the opposite way, the Swiss franc is beating out the Japanese yen in all 4 of these fundamental metrics here, and we can take a look at that. Japanese GDP growth sits at minus 0.3% compared to Switzerland's 0.3%. Japanese unemployment 2.6% compared to Swiss 1.9%. Japanese inflation 3.7% compared to Swiss 3%. And lastly, interest rates minus 0.1% compared to 0.5%. So the Swiss yen is our top buy here in the Edge Finder today. I'm going to show you the score chart summary one more time, just in case you'd like to pause the video and take a look at some of this data in here. Of course, the Edge Finder is a super useful tool, and we have links down in the description below if you'd like to check it out for yourself. We have our Black Friday sale. Code A1YT for 40% off is ending very, very soon at the end of the month. So if you're interested in getting the product, I would recommend going ahead and getting it now, sooner than later, before the sale is over. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and we will see you in the next one. Make sure you guys check out the links in the description if you need broker recommendations, access to our free Discord, or want to chat with us on Telegram. If you're interested in our trading software, the Edge Finder, you can find that in the description as well. Thanks for watching.